Hey guys, this is Harith and welcome back to True Space. Right now we'll be breaking down Sagittarius and Capricorn from a medical astrology point of view. But first let's start with Sagittarius. So Sagittarius deal with the power or the discipline of being broad and decisive when it comes to our different visions, imaginations, how we see reality, but they rule by Jupiter here. So even though they're mutable with all these different visions, imaginations, and way of burning through reality, they like to expand and extract knowledge and wisdom from them. So they don't like to stay in one fire. They don't like to stay in one imagination, like maybe like Leo who like to uphold that image, or Aries who like to just give birth to it. Sagittarius, they like to move in and move out that image, out that shape or form, which allow them to extract different knowledge and wisdom from that imagination. And this what makes them a very wise fire sign. But for them to get to that point, they have to go through a lot of experiences, a lot of expressing, so they know what to do and what not to do with the fire element, because the fire element deals with burning through reality, which tends to play out also physically as us burning through our physical body. A lot of time, uh, since Sagittarius energy rules our muscular system, someone who's not wise with his meaning and reasoning and what he wants to expand in and what type of journeys he wants to go towards usually might lead to a lot of physical damages and things like that. Like you meet a lot of Sagittarius who are alcoholics, who have bad diets, bad lifestyles, and things like that, because that energy puts you in a sense of being too reckless and too restless. It's very hard for Jupiter to sit still while it wants to expand all these different imagination. So a lot of time it creates a lot of chaos. Essentially, this is why Sagittarius, their desire or that house or that energy, this true desire is to figure out a philosophical system or a moral system on how could it conduct itself way better, so it doesn't have to go through all these reckless multitude of experiences to get where it needs to be. So if you really think about it from a biological point of view, since Sagittarius rules our muscular system and our Sagittarius deal with expanding, so we could extract knowledge and wisdom, so we could develop a better mental body for ourselves with these experiences. You gonna have to realize that, um, for example, a lot of people into martial arts or people into sports, they talk about a lot about philosophy. They talk a lot about how sports is not just fighting. It's something way higher than it actually look like. It's way more deep, like Bruce Lee, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, and so on and so forth. But a lot of these people were able to develop all this philosophical understanding, all this knowledge and wisdom about God is through utilizing their body. Because if Sagittarius rules the muscular system, and if you're not a person who utilizes all the muscles of his body, someone who likes to expand in every single different area of the body, and then you will not be able to reach a broad conclusion about God or spirituality. Because a lot of time people like to take that Sagittarius energy and use it in a very Aries way or a Leo way, where we need that energy to be expansive so we can grow all type of tissues in our body from all different perspective. So we don't be that person who just train or grow tissues in their upper body, but we also grow tissue and expand within our lower body, because we understand our body has muscles everywhere, and when we train different body parts we could gain all type of knowledge and information on what that body part represent. But we need to go through the experience of moving through it so we could develop the knowledge and wisdom. It's very hard to develop knowledge and wisdom without traveling, moving around. And when I say that, I'm talking about that on a physical level, but also on a metaphysical level. So you could extract the knowledge and wisdom and incorporate it to your own body, and would this allow you to develop a better, more holistic muscular system, since you're allowing yourself to be more broad and being more careful with what type of experiences or what type of things you want to express, so you can extract the proper meaning and reasoning, so you could incorporate it into your muscular system, so you could incorporate it into this mind and mentality that you've been building on. So After Sagittarius, we have Capricorn. Capricorn, even while Sagittarius deal with expanding the muscular tissue, Capricorn deal with contracting the bones and the ligament and the skeletal system. So if you think about it this way, someone who's always expanding on Sagittarius will not have time to build the proper status, business, ligaments, bones that could help him maintain that sense of expansion. There's no point of expanding Sagittarius and not contracting Capricorn, because a lot of too much expansion create weak muscles, weak moral system, weak form of spirituality if we don't have the necessary restrictions, boundaries, systems of control, ways of understanding reality, our status, something beyond just giving meaning and reasonings to things like in Sagittarius. So Capricorn in that sense deal with the power, the discipline of initiating, giving birth to what makes sense, what's practical through creating restrictions, boundaries, learning control and things along this line. But since Capricorn deal with the that power, that discipline, it play out biologically as our bones, as our skeleton system, which is very good. But if we're not aware of how that energy play out, it could play a lot of time destructive situations in our life. Because if Capricorn, they deal with initiating, giving birth to practicality and what makes sense, the earth element, through creating restrictions and boundaries and control within their, obviously it starts with their mental body and that play out physically. We gotta be careful with that energy, because a lot of time it could create a lot of lack of blood flow, a lot of lack of fluidity. Leo in conjunct Capricorn, the 10th house. The moon is debilitated in Capricorn. So Capricorn, they don't know how to access the fluids within their body to make them feel refreshed, to make them feel recovered. They're always on the side of the energy. We're trying to initiate and give birth to structure, practicality, which play out as giving birth to like creating ligaments, creating tough tissues, creating bones, making things drier within your body so you could uphold this status, so you could uphold this business, so you could keep the public image looking clean. But a lot of this is what leads to Capricorn issues, because they create a lot of inhibition, a lot of preservation. All that preservation and inhibition sometimes become what destroys them really, because all that restrictions, all that control, all that discipline really slows down all the fluid within your body, all the feminine aspect of your body, even though it allows you to build a strong body, strong bones, strong ligaments, a strong status to stand on. It could kills all the fluid within your body. So you have to be careful with how much hard you are on yourself, how much attention you pay towards your work, your status and business. A lot of time these things dry you out very quickly, and you could ask that anybody. You could ask that to anybody in your life. Thinking too much about work, thinking too much about like building and things along this line, all these things dry you out. So you gotta be careful how much energy you put into that Capricorn or to that 10th house, because it will play out through your body as you being very dry, being too restrictive, which will lead to a lot of digestion issues, fluid issues, even muscles issues, where your body becomes very tight because you like control, you like stiffness, and you like to do the same things over and over, and which is very important to become aware of. This is why Sagittarius come before Capricorn, so it prevents Capricorn from being so stiff and stagnated. Sagittarius brings those experiences, that sense, the need to expand, so Capricorn does not stay stiff and fixated on these things, which is quite beneficial. For example, uh, in martial arts, like I recommend doing martial arts and things along this line, with obviously exercising, but not just doing things like bodybuilding, because a lot of time bodybuilding just leads to a lot of expanding your tissue, so you have big muscles and things along this line. But these a lot of time lead to a lot of negativity, because a lot of bodybuilders, they die of liver diseases, issues dealing with them expanding their body too much. A lot of time these people, they can't even touch like different parts of their body, because they're so big and they expand so far to the point they look kind of very unattractive, and that's not something a lot of people should strive towards. But if you could take a lot of their principle of growing tissues and muscles, which is obviously good, and incorporate some Capricorn, learning how to get restrictions, boundaries, learning how to put the weight on your bones and your ligaments, was something a lot of bodybuilders do not do, which is something is more dominant when it comes to the martial arts community, where they don't only care about training the muscles, they care about training the bones, the tendons, the soft ligaments, the tissues, which are more important than the muscles, because they uphold the muscles, but the muscles are important for providing flexibility and things along this line. This is why I recommend doing things like martial arts, boxing, because it does not only train your muscles, it trains the bones, the ligaments, the entire body, and it's better than doing a sport where it's kind of separating the body in a completely different way, which is quite unhealthy and actually lead to a lot of like body dysmorphia images, which is something very big within the bodybuilding community, no matter how big you get. So that's the video, and thank you guys for watching.